A spectacular ending to the Northampton Summer Concert Series.
And a look at what's new at the Northampton Fire Department. I'm Bart Bartlesman.
And I'm Lori Caruso. These stories and more on this edition of Atlantic Ave. Hello, I am Lori Caruso and welcome to this edition of Atlantic Ave. I am so excited to be here today with Ayla Brown and Rob Bellamy. Hey guys.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Great to be here.
Thanks
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So it's a beautiful day finally, right?
Yeah.
Third time's a charm.
Third time. I did say, actually, I was going to say third time's a charm.
No, truly, like the first time happened, I'm like, oh my gosh, rain. The second time happened, it was rain again. I'm like, please, Mother Nature.
I think it's because we changed it to a Tuesday.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
I don't know.
Hey, there's usually nothing going on Tuesdays except Taco Tuesday somewhere. So now you can just
We've
come
got
see
the
music
concert.
here in Northampton.
Exactly. So yes, we're sitting out here at the Bandstand in Northampton. This is the last event of the season.
Aww.
The concert series is coming to a close, but we are so excited to have you both here closing it up.
Thank you.
So Ayla, tell me, I know you probably get questions all the time. I would love to know, how did you get started in this industry? I mean, it's such
my gosh.
an incredible thing, and your voice, amazing.
Thank you. So you'll hear a lot of that story tonight.
Oh.
We do a lot of like storytelling, especially with people who have never seen us play before. So you'll hear all my secrets, but I learned how to sing through Disney movies. And then when I grew up, I wanted to sing in front of anyone who would listen. I tried out for a show called American Idol back in 2006.
Oh, that show?
You know, well, there are so many on right now.
I
You know,
know,
there's
you're
like
right.
so many to choose from. But back in the day, there was really no other show. So I was on with Taylor Hicks and Kelly Pickler and Catherine McPhee, Chris
Really?
Daughtry, and that's really where I got my introduction to like the music business as a bigger thing, as opposed to like being in the basement singing by myself. So I was very blessed, very lucky, and it still enables me to continue to do this today.
Well, I'm impressed that you're still doing it today after sitting in front of Simon Cowell.
Yeah, I know. He's not as cranky as you might think.
Oh.
Actually, yes, he is. He can be, but it was fine. It was a great experience.
It was so exciting. And Rob, what about you? How did you get started in this industry?
A lot different than Ayla.
You American
Yeah,
Idol?
I didn't get started until later on in my life. Like, I played hockey growing up, so from 3 years old till I was 30. But I always loved music. I was always around. I always used to listen to music in my dad's car. Always used to listen to classic rock. In my mom's car was always like James Taylor and Dave Matthews and all the singer-songwriters.
Don't leave the big one out though.
Who?
You know who. Your
Who's
first
that?
concert. Ask Rob what his first concert
Hey, Rob,
was.
what's your
Yeah.
first concert?
Oh, man.
Let's hear it.
It's actually, my first concert ever was Melissa Etheridge.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
I mean,
Yes.
and I have nothing against her. I would have rather it be maybe the Eagles or something, but no. You know what? It was a great experience. My parents took me when I was like 8 years old. It was at the Mullen Center, UMass Amherst, and but like I said, I played hockey growing up, and but like if I was out. Whatever we are at a park or at a bar, I gravitated towards live music, and my parents finally pulled the trigger and bought me a guitar for my 23rd birthday. So I didn't start playing until I was 23, and then
kidding.
started
Yeah.
singing then. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Robbie's
23.
a late bloomer.
Yeah.
A late
But let me
bloomer.
tell you, he is coming in hot. And it's so funny when you listen to some of Rob's first songs. They're like everyone's first songs. You know, they're so cute, but also have like a lot of
bad?
work. Bad, yeah. But so are mine, right? But like now, every time Rob writes, which has been a lot, especially during the pandemic, he like every song I just feel like is gold. Like it's so good. I don't know what it is. You're hitting your prime, babe.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening.
So I gotta ask that because I wouldn't even know where to start when I put pen to paper on where the inspiration comes from. Where does it come from? How do you
Good
start the
question.
word?
You know,
Good
I
question.
think personally, I think a lot of it does come from real life. But I also think you have to have a creative mind as well. I mean, I think that it all comes from imagination too. I mean, I write a lot of songs that are relatable to me, but I think that can be relatable to other people as well. You know, I look at Bruce Springsteen, and you know, he's a great lyricist. I think a lot of his stuff comes from imagination too. So I think it's a little bit of both.
So going through this pandemic, and I have podcasts, I talk about pandemic all the time, but did you find additional inspiration coming out of the pandemic? Did you find like some sort of, I don't know, some inner feeling that just had a right?
Rob did. We actually wrote one song together. Well,
you
a
did?
couple songs together during the pandemic because I still had a full-time job on a radio station in Boston. So I was still like waking up at 4 and there was really no like pandemic in my life. But Rob did an entire 2-sided EP with 7 songs each during the pandemic, which he did all the vocals, all of the songwriting and the vocals at the house. And then he had the recordings done in Nashville by like the most incredible people.
Really?
So he can tell you about it. But I'm a fan of it because it's so cool to know like in the future, looking back, that project of his was done during a quarantine. Wow. I just find that fascinating.
It really is.
Yeah, I don't. It's weird. Like for me, inspiration or songwriting comes in waves. When we're busy during the summer and we're gigging, I think I have 70, 75 gigs this summer. I mean, and I say that from probably like March to October, but I don't do a lot of songwriting. I'll mix a few in, but that time during COVID, I had time to actually sit down and I had nothing else going on. So, I think I wrote like 40 songs during that time.
At least. They were all so good. It was hard to narrow it down and I was lucky. I got 2 songs on his record.
Yeah.
Ones that I co-wrote with him.
So, and I was going to say, I mean, what if you listen to a song and you're like, that might not be the song. Like, how do you deliver the news? You don't
deliver it.
Okay.
You continue to write it because every song is special in its own way. And then you just move on to the next. You can't get like super emotionally attached to every song because there's always another one, in my opinion.
I completely agree. Ayla's a good person to bounce stuff off of because she's completely honest.
Good.
Which I think is really important, and instead of sugarcoating everything, right. You know what I mean? So it's I like bouncing stuff off her. I mean, I got pretty thick skin, I would say, and I could take the criticism.
Yeah.
And it makes the song better at the end of the day. I go back to the drawing board and, hopefully.
Most of his lyrics are great, too. It's just sometimes I'm like, hey, have you ever thought of doing this with the melody? Because I'm more of a melodic writer, and that's why I think Rob and I work well together and why our marriage is also exciting is because we're totally opposites. And we use that to strength, sometimes weaknesses, obviously, but like our strength is that I'm good at what he's not, and he's good at what I'm not good at.
Balance.
Yeah, so if you looked at the yin and the yang, it all just evens out and creates this circle.
And that was my next question. You guys spend a lot of time together, don't you? You're performing together, you're married, you are together. How does that work? How do you balance life? How do you balance your work together?
I don't see him past 8 p.m. because I'm in bed at 8. I wake up at 4 for my job. And then I don't know. I mean, I guess that's our only break, but besides going out with friends separately.
It actually has changed a lot. Like when we first were dating, when we were living in Nashville, we were together 24/7. And when Ayla got the job on Country 102.5 and moved back here, she had to go to bed at 8 o'clock at night and wake up at 4:30. So our days, like when I'm getting up and ready for my day, she's kind of winding down from hers, taking a nap. And yeah, so we actually right now we're spending the least amount of time together, I would say, compared to when we first started dating.
Well, and I'm sure you noticed behind us, the car.
Oh yeah.
It's
car?
not the car. It's the car.
Stole the show.
It really did. This car was at our wedding, and it was our getaway car, which we'll have to find photos and videos and like send to you guys. But oh my gosh, I literally had people in the building that I work at see photos of this car and ask about it. Like it was the perfect end to our wedding night.
Yeah, it was.
Really.
Yeah, like Ayla said, we have great video that I have a buddy putting together right now, and it's the car's pulling out with us in it, with the sparklers going. It's really cool.
It was very fun.
Yeah, it was a cherry on top for sure with the night. And then we drove around all downtown Portsmouth in it and took some video, and it was fun.
Very cool. Well, I'm going to ask you another question, and it'll probably be the last because you probably need to get back on stage. What do you tell the ones that are looking to get into performing, singing? Is there anything that we can tell my daughters? I know Sienna listened to you like nonstop over the course of the last week.
I love her.
She's so excited. She wanted your autograph. She was just so excited, and she's inspired. So what do you tell the little ones out there?
I love that. I guess for me, because you were just talking about, is it Sienna?
Sienna.
Sienna. Okay, so I love her name, by the way. I think having an idol is really important. Like when I was younger, I looked up to this high school girls basketball player who I just idolized so much. I wanted to play like her. And basketball used to be like the biggest thing in my world. It wasn't music, if you can believe that. And my dad got an opportunity to introduce me to her and then hired her to like give me basketball lessons. And I didn't know any of this. I just thought she was hanging out with me because she wanted to like make me better, and she was a nice person. But let me tell you, having an idol and someone you can look up to is the first step on knowing like who you want to be and what you want to do potentially. I mean, if your daughter wants to be a singer, to surround herself with other singers is the first step. And I know Rob will have some advice.
My advice is you got to put the work in.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how much work goes into this.
And I will say though, it's very hard at the start. Like you feel like, how am I going to take this on? Because I mean, whether you're picking up an instrument, like that's one thing. That's something you have to learn, and it's sitting in your bedroom behind closed doors and where no one sees it. And then it's, okay, now I want to sing, and now I want to get up in front of people and do this for real. And that's a whole nother thing that you have to take on mentally. But it gets easier. So it's just, you got to stick with it. And for me, like, it's all progress and consistency.
Excellent. And for the fans who are watching this, what's your next, you guys? Where are we going to see you? What stage are you going to perform on next?
Gosh, that's a great question.
Tomorrow, I have a solo gig tomorrow in Weymouth.
Yeah.
But after that, what do we have coming up?
We do all sorts of stuff in New England, but like everything, it's kind of winding down. So at the end of October, we are finally in November going on our birthday trip.
Woohoo!
Because
you guys get time off?
Well, we have to make time off. That's the crazy
Good
thing.
girl.
We could book all the way through the year, but my birthday is in July, his is in May, but we're so busy during that time that we always kind of reserve the first weekend in November. So we're finally going to be going away and doing something for at least 2 days. But
Well, excellent. Well,
Yeah.
Ayla, thank you so much. Rob, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for
Thanks.
being on the show. We really appreciate it. We are going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Tell me something, boy. Aren't you tired trying to fill that void? Or do you need more? Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore?
Welcome back to Atlantic Ave. I am here with Dolores Chase. How are you, Dolores?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for
Dolores
having me.
Absolutely. Dolores is part of the Friends of Northampton Bandstand. Is that right?
Friends of the Bandstand, yes.
Friends of the Bandstand. So
Yeah.
Dolores, tell me what goes into your day working on this project.
Well, mostly it goes into my winter. I spend most of the winter finding my bands, and then that's pretty much what we do. But the daytime, yeah, all summer long we're watching the weather, and that's pretty much what we do. Watch the weather, and then if we have to make a call, we can cancel by 1 o'clock on the day of the concert. So
We've had some challenges this year, haven't we, with weather?
we have, but actually we only had to cancel one band, which was this band today,
band.
and we are so happy we were
Three
able to have
times
them
a charm,
back.
as we said.
This is the third time, that's right, and it's a beautiful evening.
And
So,
it's the close of the concert series, right?
It is, yes. Normally Labor Day's the close,
Okay.
but we extended it for this band, yes.
Excellent. So tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about some of the past performers that we've had this year.
We opened the season with the Neil Diamond Tribute Band. One of
Bet you
the
that was crowded.
Oh, it was crowded and it was wonderful. So I think we'll have them back next year. We just have some great ones. Always Rico Barr, he's one of our favorites. Baja Brothers Club Soda Band, Reminiscence. They're wonderful. We've had huge crowds, even with the with COVID and everything. The people have just been they were ready to come out. They wanted to be here.
Well, I can imagine. And being that we're still in a pandemic, I can't imagine the challenges you've been faced in addition to weather. What have you been doing with the pandemic, and how have you seen that change?
Well, we have just tried to watch and make sure that people kind of keep their distance. Last year, we even came up and we made circles for people to sit in these circles, and keeping them 6 feet apart and that kind of thing. So it hasn't been quite that difficult this year with the vaccines, but we're all being very careful.
Excellent, wonderful.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's in store for next year? I know it's hard work that you're putting in right now, and you probably don't have the lineup yet, but what are your expectations?
We don't have the lineup, but I think each year it's just gotten better and better, and people expect more from us too. So it is expensive. It gets more expensive each year, but we've got to do that because you can't not get the right bands.
And you're right, there is an expense to this.
There's a big expense to this.
How can the community get involved to help support this? Besides coming here, obviously they're coming here to buy burgers and things.
They come here to buy burgers, and this is the first year that our Bandstand committee has been the ones that do the cooking, and all the work that goes with it, and we get the profit that goes with it, which has helped. We passed the bucket at intermission, and they've been phenomenal. People have just wanted to help, so it's been so good this year, really.
Wonderful.
And if they want, they can always send a donation to Friends of the Northampton Bandstand, P.O. Box 3, Northampton.
Good. You heard that. Donations are very, very wanted here.
Yes.
There's no question.
Yeah.
Well, Dolores Chase, you have done, and your committee, you've done an amazing job. Thank you so much for joining us on the show here. And we can't wait to see what's in store for next year.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back. We're going to head down Atlantic Ave over to the town center, where Bart Bartlesman has a special guest. Bart?
Thank you, Lori. Joining us today is Chief Jason Lajoie. Good morning, Chief.
Hey, good morning.
So it's been about a year since you became the chief of the department here. How do you think that year has gone for you?
That's correct. It's just been a year, and it's been extremely busy. I've been a part of the department now for just about 19 years. This first year as chief has been challenging, to say the least. We're extremely busy, and I got to tell you, I don't think I've ever been so busy in my life. But the job has been extremely enjoyable throughout. I've got a great group of firefighters and paramedics here that I get to work with on a daily basis, and we've got a promising future, I can say that.
I see a lot of activity externally. What's going on behind the building?
It's a good question. So if anybody's done business here over at the fire station or at the town hall and been driving around the parking lot, they probably would have seen over the last few weeks some cars that were all cut up. And the reason for that is every year what the fire department does is we try to conduct annual extrication training, and that gives the firefighters a chance to perfect their skills in trying to rescue trapped occupants out of vehicles. So we do have a local company, National Wrecker, out of Portsmouth, who provides these vehicles at no charge to the department. They deliver them here to our parking lot, where we can then take the time each shift is afforded the chance to get out and practice with the tools, the jaws of life, and other saws. And we get to get in there, simulate that there's somebody trapped in the vehicle. We get to cut them open. Like I said, each shift gets to practice as a group. And it's just a chance on a yearly basis just to reacclimate ourselves to the tools and make sure that we're keeping up with our practices.
So that's in the training department. Tell us about that shiny new ambulance that's right behind us.
Sure. So we just welcomed this new ambulance. It's a 2021 Ford, and we received it from PL Custom Emergency Vehicles based out of New Jersey, and it was sold through Sergalo for Emergency Vehicles out of Maine. It's the latest and greatest. We have all the most up-to-date tools and equipment on it as well. Cardiac defibrillator was also brand new with that. It's state-of-the-art, the most technologically advanced piece of equipment that's on the market. We've got it right here in town. And again, the tools and equipment that we have will not do any good without the personnel behind it. And I'm so excited to say that we have, I think, some of the most highly skilled, most talented firefighters and paramedics and EMTs that are working here. And the residents can rest assured that they've got the best of the best right here in Northampton.
Sounds like getting all this equipment means a lot of grant writing and begging. What are you doing in that department?
That's correct. So technology is always changing, so we try to keep up with that. So with the equipment that we have, there's a couple of different ways of purchasing it. First, our apparatus is purchased through a capital reserve account, as well as a lot of our capital equipment. Other equipment, as it completely changes through time, typically equipment when you get can have a specific lifespan. Sometimes out of our control that equipment changes, and so as things change, we might have grant opportunities that are available to us, and that's one thing that we're always striving for, is what equipment can we manage getting through grant funding that can better provide the department and the town residents with. And this year we've been able to secure, I think, a total of 6 grants now, totaling well over $70,000, thanks to Deputy Fire Chief Mark Cook, who's put in a lot of time and effort into securing these funds for us.
So you're looking for grant money, lots of ideas. What do you see going forward?
So going forward, right now, the number one thing is personnel, and like I said, we've got the best firefighters and paramedics around the seacoast here. Right now, we've got a brand new ambulance that we've talked about. We're going to be going for a new fire engine this year. That's going to be coming out of our capital reserve account, and we're looking to replace a 26-year-old fire engine that's aging, and with aging equipment as well. Other than that, we're going to be looking at a new fire station facility along with a new town complex, which would include a fire and police station. That's probably the most important priority right now, is making sure that we've got modern, safe, and efficient facilities for our employees to work out of.
Chief, thanks for joining us today and giving us a look at the happenings here at Northampton Fire Department. More of Atlantic Avenue after this break.
And welcome back to Atlantic Ave. Before we go, let's check out some sights and sounds from the recent air show at Pease. I'd like to thank our guests, Ayla Brown and Rob Bellamy, Dolores Chase and Chief Jason Lajoie for joining us today. So for Bart Bartelsman and the entire Channel 22 staff, thanks so much for joining. I'm Lori Caruso, and we'll see you next time on Atlantic Ave.